Hello. Okay. I'm going to do a walkthrough of functionality of this mutual aid app. This will try not to be technical at all, and it will be done with our staging / testing instance, meaning it'll only be using test data. It won't be actually using our actual app to avoid showing actually phone numbers or something like that. Let's start with Slack. So there's a couple different things. There's two kind of concerns in Slack. One is posting requests to community needs. And you'll see requests come in and it looks like this. And it'll start off with a red dot and then respond to things. And the way that works is somebody comes in and their Airtable should look something like this, and assigns them, goes down to dispatch needed and assigns it to themselves. So in this case, it's me. And then what somebody might do is go down here and click on post open request. And then this is the same request that we just saw over here. So if we scroll to the right, 3TV, MJA, then we can click create message. We can see if everything looks good, if there's anything else we want to add, yada, yada, yada. We can choose the channel. Most of the time it'll be community needs. And then we preview it. Double check if everything looks good. If not, we can edit, but we're going to click send. Great. So this is posted. Another thing you can do is somebody might comment and say, hey, I got this. What the person who assigned it was, in this case me, can do is click on these dots over here, go to assign to delivery. And this is assuming everything's set up in Slack. You can optionally reply to the thread with confirmation via the bot. And this is recommended. Start a DM with a bunch of request info from this table. So let's do this, both of these. Great. So MJMauer7, you're on. You'll get a DM soon. I already got that DM. It's down here. So here's all the info. Here's some details on the request. Yada, yada, yada. Phone name. Copy, 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 copy. Cross streets. Request code. Reminder. About the reimbursement form and so on. And then delivery guide. Great. And another thing you can do with the bot is if you're in an admin group or created the post yourself, you should be able to go down to edit bot post, which we set up here, and you can delete it or you can move stuff around. Say like, I don't know, we have blah, blah, blah. Save it. Great. Then we have ADS. Cool. And then when this thing gets marked completed in Airtable, the app will listen for this to be request complete, and then it will mark it request completed. Great, that's the Slack delivery posting portion. There's also a reimbursement option, as you can see down here. So let's go to our messages. It posted this reimbursement form, right? Which if you type in a bunch of information, you can request reimbursement, which will post a community reimbursement. What this form is from a separate Airtable base. We actually have P2P money as well as intake volunteers to kind of help separate this out. And so the actual request itself is in this table called payment requests. And we have this form here, so we're going to open it. We're going to request reimbursement for the thing we just created, which is for 3TV MJ. We're going to copy this, type reimbursement, yada. We're going to skip this. 555555555. Hey, I just completed this. Thanks. My Venmo is MJ Mauer. Feel free to Venmo me. Spent 200 and I can cover $50 of it. and then I'm going to attach a receipt. I don't know what I'm going to attach. Lordy. I'm just going to attach one of these things here. Attach the README. There we go. Sweet. Submit to Slack. Great. And it'll say, if your post doesn't show up in community reimbursement soon, please let tech know. And I can already see it did. Great. So here's the reimbursement request. It says my Venmo is MJ Maurer, the intake volunteer, aka the person who took the call and assigned delivery, which in this case is the same as the delivery volunteer, is posted. And then it says, hey, you want to send money? Just comment on this with like sent 20. So we're going to do that. Sent 20. So actually, let's do 30. And the delivery, the app will see that something got sent by listening to a Slack event and post an updated how much is left to go. What this does behind the scenes is creates a donor payment, which you can see at the bottom here, of $30. This is the Slack ID of the person who posted it. And then if you click on this, this is the reimbursement request that we just filled out with 5555, my Venmo ID, and stuff like that. Great. So that's one way to track payments. And in addition to this, at the same time, say there's people, you give out this form and you ask people, hey, can you support our group? And it'll ask them for like different payment options and like their phone number. And then they can, what will happen manually is somebody would create a donor payment, which is the thing that automatically got created by Slack for the payment request that we created in the first place, which in our case was, let's see, 27 or 64 is the ID. So we're going to create another payment request, add a new record, status is pending. The amount they're going to pay out $40 from this external donor. And then we're going to, I forgot what it was, 61, I think, 64. Yeah. Great. And then God willing, I think this is still working in staging. I don't remember if I've pushed recently, but once that's created, come back here and hey, yeah, it works. New donation by external donor. They sent 40, just 80 to go. And what would happen behind the scenes is the person who's filling this out would text the donor, hey, please send money to this Venmo account that is specified in the request. And then this automatically creates a donor payment over here, which is what you did over here manually. Cool. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then you can see this thing is updated with the balance. So there's $80 left on to go. And then once it's totally complete, sending 80, what's left? Okay. Reimbursement is complete. And give it a second. It should also mark this as a green check mark. That might be what's broken, actually, in staging. I remember there was something going wrong. But in the, oh, nope, it does work. Reimbursed, cool. So this covers all of the Slack functionality. Let's talk about the web app. So the neighborhood finder you might be familiar with. This is what's used if you're doing an intake call and say dispatch is needed. And I mean, normally this, I duplicate a bunch, but this stuff wouldn't be set. Okay, so you do dispatch needed. You get on the horn with the person whose phone number it is. And then let's say they tell your address and you don't want to go to Google Maps. So let's say the address is 1150 Dean Street, Brooklyn. You can automatically type this in and it will tell you the cross streets and stuff. And then on top of that, what can happen is, well, you can click this and it'll automatically, I'm not signed into my email on this computer, but it'll create an email with resources, but this hasn't been updated in a while. Your mileage may vary. One thing you can do that definitely works is update a request with the information here. So let's do that. Let's look at our code for this one. So the code is, we're going to paste that in here. We're going to update address, successfully updated, and let's double check that it worked. Good, Dean Street, Troy Ave, Northwest. Awesome. And then you can go through all the Slack things that we did before. Another thing, in fact, let's actually do that. Just to be clear here. Let's post that request because I want to show, this will play into something I'm about to show. Create message, yada, send. Okay, cool. And now we can go to delivery needed. And what this does is shows you an open map of all the requests. Troy, this is the one we just did. And yeah, if something is open and has been posted to Slack, it'll show up here. This is staging, so there's not many of them right now. But yeah, and if you click see details on Slack, it'll actually take you to the post that we just created. Great. That is pretty much the extent of what the app does in terms of Slack and the web app right now. Another thing that is in here that we didn't talk about is Twilio. I'm going to continue not talking about that. The Twilio code in here is being used by some folks, but I'm going to save that explanation for the more technical one. Most of our Twilio code is actually on Twilio functions right now, and it has some branching logic that Twilio makes easier. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know if you have any questions, either in comments, reach out to me on Crown Heights Slack, reach out to Tech on Crown Heights Slack, #tech. Cool.